Hello and welcome to the next instalment in our Board Games Direct series, a series of paid previews that are kind of designed to show you a few games if you can't make it to a board game convention. This time we're taking a look at a bunch of chill games, some slightly more relaxing, slightly lighter games that might be a bit easier to get to the table. But before we begin, you've got to remember that these are paid previews, not reviews. They're separate from our regular editorial content. With that in mind, let's chill out. Let's play some chill games.
It's time for some garden-based gaming. Ooh, put on your gardening gloves. Get your little clippy guys. What are they called? Shears?
Clippers.
Clippers.
Sometimes it's called clippers.
Sometimes it's called clippers. And get ready to place plants.
But remember, some of these are plants and some of these are animals.
Can you tell the difference?
That's the game.
That's the game.
The player who can tell them. It's not the game.
It's not the
It's
game.
actually slightly more complicated than that, but very lovely. Look at this pink bag that says Perennial on it. And
Full?
it's full of flowers.
Wow.
And animals.
Animals.
But can you tell the difference? It doesn't matter if you can tell the difference. Well, it kind of does. You're struggling in this game if you can't. Tom, please explain the game.
This is Perennial. It's from the same people who made your Cascadias and your Calicos, and it's a cozy little tile placement game where you're going to do 2 phases till the game's over. Phase number 1, gathering. You're going to take plants from this central board using one of these little tool cards around the edge. So let's say I'm going to use these Wellingtons to take tiles. I'll take this card, and then I will take tiles in exactly this configuration from the middle. So I would go like that, and I would put those in my little personal supply. And then the next player would refill from the bag and place another tool type over here. Once you've all done this twice, used 2 tool cards to take 2 little sets of tiles from the middle from a constantly refreshing market, we're then going to simultaneously place those tiles on our little player board.
Our little things.
Very nice.
All right, cool.
I've placed some already.
Oh yeah, look at you, Johnny come early.
Here's what's interesting about this, is that you will use those tool cards that you just got from this drafting phase to then place the tiles onto your board.
So it
Nice little
affects
rub.
the selection of things that you're grabbing from this grid, but then also affects how you can place things in the future. But at least you do have a small hand of these cards, right?
You do, yeah.
So you're basically assembling them for the future so you can make sure that you can collect the things you need and then plant them in the right places.
Yes, but these cards are one use. So if I use this nice little square thing, I can't use it again for the rest of the game. Better make sure that it counts, because also if you place one of these and it kind of goes over the edge of the board, those tiles
They
are
just
lost.
don't exist. They become weeds and are exterminated. Single-use
sad.
gloves, single-use wicker baskets. Oh, has the world gone mad?
As you place these onto your board, you are trying to make nice large areas of the same plant, because that's going to give you end game points, but you're also trying to match the kinds of plants that you have with the little seeds that are on the board. If I get this yellow plant and I put it here, I would get to take a seed and put it in my little bowl over here.
Oh, that's cute. The
It's
little,
nice.
the little bowl on the card. So what happens if you put something else on the seed space that isn't the flower that matches the seed one that they... No? Nothing?
Gone for good. And you want these seeds because they let you have a little bit of flexibility in what you're placing. You get to take more tiles from the bag. You get to place them in kind of spaces you want to. They're like a little pinecone wild from Cascadia.
Pinecone wild.
You can also use them to remove these boulders, which get in the way and stop you from placing things.
Oh,
And
that's Harvest Moon as heck.
it's very Harvest Moon. And also, in addition to this, each round there will be a particular pond or feature that you may place on your board that will add different scoring criteria as well.
Place my pond somewhere.
In addition to this, you have animals, and animals have a preferred type of plant that they like. This chipmunk here likes pink flowers in its column, and when you put that, you'll then score accordingly. Rabbits care about stuff in their rows. Owls care about stuff all around them
Because they've
their
got
head
rotating
can
heads.
Rotate.
Don't do it. You're not an owl, remember.
Trying my best.
Please remember, you're not an owl either, and neither is Tom.
If you think this game looks too simple, well, let me tell you, you can spice it up with some end game scoring cards that will reward you for specific things to make it into an advanced game.
Ooh.
Pretty spicy. And that's basically all of Perennial, a game of placing out nice little plant configurations and trying to make a chipmunk really happy. This is NEXUS, an Arcology Directive. I didn't know what an Arcology was before we did this preview.
No.
Basically, it's a giant big building that's got everything in it.
Yeah.
People, business, and water.
Like the Millennium Dome.
Like the Millennium Dome or the Barbican.
Yeah.
Way bigger.
Way bigger. Bigger than the Barbican? That's not possible, Tom.
I can't believe it.
Shout out to the Barbican. You're a real one. And a building, technically.
This is a roll and write game where you're building out your own personal arcology. We're all prospective planners who are kind of up for the job of actually building this thing, and here we are planning it using a roll and write game.
Is this the exam?
Yeah.
To be like, can I make it? Can I make the building?
Yes, you're allowed the controls if you scribble on this paper in the right way.
Oh, I wish more of the exams at school had involved colour crayons.
So the way this game works is super duper simple. We start with a little sort of setup round where whoever has the initiative can either draw new blueprints from this big stack to mill through their hand and get better blueprints. We'll talk about these later on. Or they can be the one who rolls the dice, and then they get the first pick of those dice. So I could go, actually, I don't want this stuff right now. I'm gonna change it out. I pass it over to you, and even though I've still got stuff that I don't really want in my hand, you're like, it's time to roll.
Yep, I'm rolling.
You get first dibs. Take all the dice, give them a big old chuck, and then in turn order, starting with the player who has the initiative.
I go first because you chose to mill your hands a little bit.
You'll draft one of these dice from the available pool and put it in your play area. And we do a sort of snake draft of these dice, and ultimately you're going to end up with 2 of them.
Yes.
So I've got these 2 dice here.
Okay, I'm going to take this one and this one.
Very good, sir.
Which allows me to basically make a kind of hexagonal domino, right? So with this one I can choose either a green or red and a green.
Yes, correct.
So I could choose to make maybe a green, because I know it has to connect to a like colour.
Yes, absolutely.
And then a red over here.
Over there. Yeah, that's a nice way of getting your red a little bit further out, because normally you would be a little more stuck with that one.
I would be a little stuck.
You can always place around your central hex, so you've always got that to sort of build around, but then yes, you have to start matching
like by like colour. And all these different colours represent different types of buildings, right?
Yes, the red ones are sort of like residential areas, and they score the bigger you sort of make them. The corporation ones, the yellow ones, are whoever has the most of them gets points at the end of the game. The blue ones are like hydroelectric plants. The more of them in a big area, the better.
Big old wet
points.
points.
Score slightly differently. I also really love the inclusion of this one, which is sort of a hex coin mining tower.
Cool.
Which is probably something you're going to get stuck with at the end of the draft. It's a grey tile and it just gives you 1 point.
Right.
Which is quite funny.
Just instead of having useful things, you're mining Bitcoin. That's, yeah, fair enough. I like that.
Good arcology.
Commentary. Oh, and then basically these seem quite self-evident to me.
Yeah,
These
exactly.
blueprint tiles, if you can manage to overlay it so that you have the same colours underneath as you do on that, you know what? Not happening for me with any of these, but
look, in my preceded example, I went like that. Woo!
That is blue and blue.
That's
and
points.
blue. That's points.
And I'd take this, I'd put it in a little stack next to me, and that'd be 3 points.
And that's points.
So you're kind of balancing the needs of trying to make this sort of nice overall sort of arcology in front of you where everything scores nicely, but also doing these kind of annoying and risky things in order to get points. Like, look at that one.
Oh.
How are you going to do that?
That's tricksy. That's
With
tricksy.
a big brain.
And also, there's enough space in the squares that I can very obviously be doing some little drawings and stuff as well. There's enough space. They can't stop me.
Yeah, you can do a little bit of flair.
That's a bush, not a sheep. Please stop sending me emails.
That's beautiful work, Matt. Well done.
Nice.
That's NEXUS, an Arcology Directive. This is Off With Their Heads. It's a combination of a roll and write with a little deck of cards that maybe has a little poker twist at the end.
A little bit of poker in there.
I'm unburying that lead.
Yes, we talked about this on a podcast not that long ago, so actually we've played this. I like this game. Full disclosure, I think it's cool, but now I'm going to tell you about it and explain roughly how it works, and then you can make your own flipping mind up. So, as Tom said, this is effectively like a flip and write, a roll and write, a flip and fill, I don't know what to call them. But what we're going to do each round is play a card from our hand of cards. We have 9 cards, and we're going to play them secretly face down.
I'm playing this one.
And we flip them all over, and then in a 2-player game, you have a couple of bonus extra cards, one of which is secret, one of which is visible, and that's going to help us determine what flipping happens. Now, the numbers for the cards that we have drawn are going to be written onto our little sheets. However, where you get to place them is dependent on how well you did in that actual little round. So we worked that out by looking at the queen,
the
who
wonderful
moves around.
circular suit board.
Yes. She moves around, changing the importance of the suits, which means in this round, for example, spades are going to be the most powerful suit, followed by hearts, clubs, and diamonds. They're rubbish.
That's why I picked spades.
Right, but then next round, she's going to move along, and now spades are the worst. Yeah, but
I'm glad I played it then.
But don't be alarmed, because sometimes things being bad is actually good.
good.
Because once we look at this little thing, we're going to work out who has the best card, who has the worst card, and then other cards will just be in the middle,
I
as is true
have
with numbers.
the best card.
You have the best card.
These two are in the middle. This one's the smelliest.
Yes, which means I'm in the middle. Not that exciting. The computer player is the lowest in this situation. So what it means, as you're the top card player, you get to draw something on the top part of the sheet.
With the mushrooms.
The mushrooms. And because I'm the middle, I would draw in the middle section. If you play the worst card in the round, then surprise, surprise, you get to draw at the bottom section.
In the stinky section.
Well, it's pretty good actually.
Oh.
And herein lies the kind of rub. Because this queen moves around, changing the power of the suits, realistically, you want to have a mixture of numbers in all of these spaces, because when you actually have this sheet, you're playing a traditional roll and righty style game, where you're going to want to put different kinds of numbers in different spaces.
To play the little scoring mini games,
right? Which means you want to get low numbers up at the top of your sheet, and you want to get high numbers at the bottom, which is tricky, right?
That's hard.
Because you might be like, well, the diamonds are rubbish right now, so I'm going to play a high-value diamond card, and maybe it'll still be the worst.
Right.
And maybe it will. Maybe you'll get lucky.
My opponent's got the same idea, and now I'm scuppered.
You might get to put like a 9 down at the bottom. You lost with a 9? That's wild.
You legend.
The second little rub here is the fact that you'll notice there's two colours on these sheets, black and red. There are a few other colours as well, but let's not look at them. Just focus on the black and red, please, please. This affects what spaces you can actually write in. So I had a 6 that was in the middle, which means I would be able to put on one of my, they look like brains, but I think they're actually bushes, little forest. I'd be able to use either the ones that are both red and black or just the red spaces.
Right, and I played a black 6, which means, and I played the highest card, so I could put a 6 in a black spot on the top bit.
One of the black mushroom spots, but not one of the red ones.
No. Matt, tell them about the final twist, because it made me go,
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm not even going to go into the specifics of it, but as you can see, all of these different sections all have different rules. At the bottom part, when you draw in the numbers, you're going to be doing a labyrinth where you want to try and use red cards to go in there, use black cards to go around there, and you want to try and get to the middle to unlock bonuses.
Then they'll kiss.
Yeah, then they'll kiss. The traditional kissing style, that's beautiful. At the top, you want to have like numbers that aren't equal, which is difficult because it's easy to get the highest card with high numbers. You can't always rely on them. No, 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 no. And then in the middle, you kind of get bonuses for having contiguous little areas, and you get a great bonus if you can fill up the entire forest. So being stuck in the middle is not the end of the world.
It's not too bad.
But the big twist that made me go, oh, is the fact that each round you're going to have these 9 cards. We're going to play 7 rounds, and at the end you're going to have 2 cards left over. And these cards, effectively, are going to be put to one side, out of the game.
In your little pocket.
In a little pocket. Everything else is going to be brought back and shuffled together, and then you're going to play another round. And after 3 rounds, you're going to have 6 cards of your own off to one side, hidden away. And then you're going to make the best poker hand you can out of those cards.
Here's mine.
What have you got? What have you...
a pair?
A pair. Well, that's not a very good poker hand, but that's because you just randomly pick 6 cards. Obviously, when you're playing the game, you can get quite a lot of points for getting a good poker hand. So there's an interesting push and pull of what cards do you actually want to use to try and fill up your flip and fill, roll and write sheet, and what cards do you want to put to one side to try and get those bonus points at the end of the game. And it adds a little bit of interaction in the fact that you can think, are they secretly trying to hide stuff?
Do they care about 4s?
And also, it's lovely that you know that you've put an ace over there. And it means the other player, you get the sense that they're worried or hoping that an ace is going to appear.
Please.
It's not going to appear because you've got it. You got it. I've got them.
Stolen all the aces.
I took them out of the game.
Why did you do that?
Just for fun, round 1.
For fun?
Just for fun, just for fun. Yeah, it's really interesting. There's a lot going on. I haven't seen a roll and write, flip and fill like this for a little while. Interesting ideas. Yeah.
Off with their heads.
Off with their heads. Got 5? No, but I think I've got a tenner in that drawer over there if you're short.
Yeah. Got 5.
Got 5.
It's a game that's name is the goal. You gotta get 5.
You've got to get 5 to eat 5.
Exactly, which means you have to get each of the 5 numbers in your personal little row.
So you can see we've slotted them into the cardboard here using finger science. You just jam them in there, it's fine, don't worry about it. They're supposed to go in there. And then I have these numbers in front of me that I can't see.
You're not allowed to look at them.
I'm not allowed to look at them.
And obviously, I can't see mine either.
I can see them because we're taking video of this, and therefore I have to be able to see them to a degree.
Vision.
But normally, I wouldn't know what these numbers are. And what are all of these numbers here, Tom?
Other numbers, but they're face down, yet to be discovered, because this is a deduction game. You're trying to deduce these numbers by the power of deduction.
And behind our screen, we have little boards that we can mark with pen to basically mark off numbers that we know are in existence. So at the very start, I would look at what Tom has and I could see, we got a 37, a 10, a 4, a 3, and a 1. Oh, I've just spoiled the game for Tom as well. So I would then be able to like mark off these.
Yes.
And be able to go, okay, that's not in there, that's not in there, that's not in there. That's not in there, and that's not in there. And you can see like the colours on these are all colour-coded, so it's quite easy to find the different like bands of numbers.
They're marvellously sort of tutti frutti sweet shop coloured things.
I want to eat them.
Yeah, same.
I want to eat them.
I want to eat them. So obviously with those markings, you can now deduce exactly what you have on your own board.
Not
No, you can't.
quite.
That would be silly.
Maybe I'm not that far off, because on a turn, you're going to flip one of these, and you're going to go whoop, and then with that number, I can basically ask a question. I can say, oh, look, I can either say, where does that go?
Yep.
And
I
you
would go
slot it in. So here you would say it goes there, between that and that. Or I could say, does this have the same number of pips on it as that one?
And if it did, then you would just put it like this, and if it doesn't, you put it at a little angle to show you that it doesn't have the same.
Because you can see that each of these have like different numbers of pips underneath the numbers, and it means as you go on and we see more and more of these numbers and we're crossing off stuff like crazy, your deduction game will kind of change a little bit in terms of being able to go, well, there aren't that many of these, it can be.
You can narrow it down.
You can get like pretty smart about how you deduced.
And at any point you can say, I've got 5.
I got 5.
I got 5. And if you do got 5, then you win.
And everyone around the table has to give you 5. That's probably not in the manual, but just pretend it is.
Pretend it is. If you don't, then that's bad, and you lose. But the other players can keep going and try and deduce their 5 because you failed.
You messed it up.
5, you silly Billy. That's got 5. Very nice little family weight deduction game to try and work out what numbers are on your thing with these lovely little clacky edible components. Now cut the cameras so we can eat them.
Hey Tom, you know what I fancy doing right now? Ruining a reef. And that's why I can't wait to learn about this game, Tom, where presumably I just get to smash up coral and destroy ecosystems.
Absolutely. Just taking a big old sledgehammer to the underwater world. It'd be quite hard, actually, because the sledgehammer will go really slow through the water.
Still, that'll learn Mother Nature.
That's not what this game's about at all. It's about being in harmony with nature. It's about having a nice time under the sea, down where it's wetter and better.
And or better.
And or better. This is a roll and write game where each round someone's going to roll these 3 dice.
Today, that somebody is going to be me.
That's really bad.
Well, I did my best.
That's an organic, terrible roll.
Well, I tried.
It's actually not necessarily good or bad, it's just what do you need right now, because you're then going to use these dice to fill in sockets on your board. There are 3 boards in front of each player. This is set up as if you are the only player of this game. You will have these 3 boards in front of every player. One of them is the Ruins board, then we have the Reef board on the other side, and then we have a special enchantment board in the middle. We'll talk about the Ruins board first. It's nice and straightforward. When you get a number, you can plonk it into any one of these boxes, and you're trying to sort of do specific things in specific ruins. So here you want the same number, here you want different numbers, here you want numbers that are close to each other, odds, evens, and then a fancy number pyramid.
Oh.
Numbers, but 3D. On the other side of the board, you have a reef board that actually has 2 different sides depending on how you're feeling.
Surprise!
Woohoo!
Surprise!
This one, you are making a sort of Tetris-style shape with your numbers, and you get to sort of place them how you wish on that board. You switched it too early, but it's fine. And on the other side, you have a kind of like root building, almost like a little grid of numbers that you're trying to connect nicely. And then in the middle, we have our enchantment space over here, which has a few funky things. Firstly, as you add up the numbers together, if we would have rolled a 5 and a 2, you could combine them for a 7 and start going down on this 7 track.
Okay.
You can earn multipliers that make the scoring for each of the different ruins a little bit higher. You can also earn shells, which you can spend 2 of to plus and minus a number by 1. Useful because, you know, obviously you want
specific
places.
Specific numbers, specific places.
But also useful for another rule that I'll explain right at the end. You also get to unlock these pearls, which get you pearl bonuses over here. Lots of bing, 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 you know, bonus for bonus
do
for bonus.
that, get another dice number, fill in the number,
And you have, you got dice as well, so you can just fill in even more spaces with even more dice.
Beautiful.
Keep doing this until the end of the game, and then you score each area. You get coins for how well you did in each space. But the one little extra rule that I really, really like is at the start of the game, you will choose a lucky number between 1 and 6. And every single time your lucky number appears anywhere on your board filled in, you're gonna get points, which is cute because it could just organically come up a bunch.
Yeah, you just be like, I like the number 3, and then I've won because there's loads of 3s. Less likely to happen.
But it's possible.
There are 18 rounds in the game, which means that's enough time, I think, for the randomness to shake out a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah? But it's more fun as well because you can change the numbers of the dice by using shells to make them go up and down. So you could really min-max it and be like, gosh darn it, I'm going to make the number 4 appear.
Yeah, my board is nothing but 4s.
That's not going to happen.
So lucky. That is Reef and Ruins, a charming little roll and write with an otter.
Oh, the otter fell over. You knocked over the otter.
I did knock over the otter. I'm so sorry, buddy.
Be good.
We've got something a little different for you with this one. This is Flamecraft Digital, a computerized version of Flamecraft, the board game. This digital version of Flamecraft lets you play custom games, either against bots or with local players or even online, as well as having a campaign that you can play through. That's not available in this demo version that we're playing right now, but the demo version that I'm playing right now is available on Steam at the time of recording. So let's give a little demonstration of how this thing works, starting by creating ourselves a custom game. Here we can either pick a basic or more complex version of the game and add in bot players or even local players on the same machine. And look, you can customize your character as well. I'm going to go for a blue border, this nice moustachy guy as a portrait with a nice fluffy little magical ring around me, and maybe I can have a toast-type dragon as well, just for a bit of fun. And now we can start the game. And the very first decision that we're faced with is which of these fancy dragons we would like to put in our hand to start. I think I'm going to go for Sweetie, because I like collecting toast-type dragons. They'll go in our hand over here, and now we can start playing the game. So, how does Flamecraft work if you don't know? You've got this lovely bucolic village stretched out in front of you with a bunch of different shops that you can go and visit. And when you visit those shops, you're going to either gather resources from them or you'll enchant them with one of these magical spells. We'll talk about that in just a second. But already you can see that this digital version is super charming. You have all these different lovingly rendered little shops with nice little characters hanging out in them. It's all very cute, very sweet. And when you open up the shops, there's a little animation at the top showing you the people working there. Isn't that cute? The dragons are also animated. It's just delightful. It's just very delightful. But I hear you clamoring to know what you actually do in this game. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you. On your turn, you can do one of two things. You can either gather at a location or you can enchant that location. Let's start with gathering. We're going to choose to gather at the Hello Nursery up here. So we click on the location and I can expand it with this little thing over here to show us the nice art. There's a little piranha plant that's very cute. And then we click the gather button to gather at that location. And you can immediately see a couple of leaves flying out to our little resource store over here. That's because the very first step of the gather is to gain the resources shown on that location, which is 1 leaf, and every dragon at that location, so we get another leaf. The thing I really like about this digital implementation is that it gives you all these steps really cleanly laid out, so you can then see our next step is to play a dragon on a matching slot. You can see there's 3 available slots at the location, and they're divided into a top and bottom half. The bottom half shows you what kind of dragon you need to play there, so here a leaf or bread dragon will do, and the top half shows you what you get. Here we will get a coin, which counts as a kind of wild resource. So I'm going to play herb to this location and immediately gain that coin, which goes into our supply. And then you get to fire up one of the dragons. Both of these have the same effect on their fire up. You can see it at the bottom. We're going to fire up herb because we just placed him, which lets us gift a good to another player to gain 2 hearts, which are points. Let's do it. I'm going to click on herb. I'm going to give someone else a nice leaf, maybe this character because they've got a nice green border, and that's us done. With nothing left to do, we click end turn, and it passes to our NPC opponents, whose turns are very nippy and speedy. You can expand them for a bit more info if you'd like to know what actually happened and what kind of stuff they got. And now it's time for us to choose another shop. Maybe we'll pick the fragile reptile down here. We click on the location, and oh no, we gotta pay stuff to enter because another person is at that location. We'll hit the gather button, and we will pay that player one of our nice little leaves. And then you can see we got 2 gems and a little potion because of the dragons that are at that location and the location itself. And look, we can play Blossom to this location because it has a leaf, and we get this little swirly thing, which is going to be another end game scoring dragon. We've got Umami here, who's going to get hearts for every meat dragons in town. We're very food based. We want bread and meat dragons. Maybe next turn we'll try and get some of those by going to the dragon park over here and collecting some of the available dragons. That sounds good. But actually, I think we might be able to do it now, because after we've gathered our resources and played our dragon, we of course get to fire up one of the available ones. And I like the look of Tannen here, who lets us swap with a dragon in town and then fire that dragon up. So let's click on them and then swap them with Pan over here at Critical Roles, who's then going to come over and use their ability and let us draw a dragon from the market. Let's get fondue or cookie, maybe cookie.
And then now they're in our hand, we could play them on a later turn in order to fulfill Sweetie's criteria here and get more bready dragons in town. Now on this turn, you can see that a new store has been added to town, the Dragon Tail Roost. This is because one of the existing places on the map has had all of its slots full of dragons. Oh, but I can't see the Dragon Tail Roost anywhere. How can I find it? Well, if you zoom out, you get a nice tactical view where you can go to any of the different shops at the press of a button. Here we go, we can go over to Dragon Tail Roost and pretend that we're doing it like normal style. Oh, but actually I don't know if I want to use this power, I don't want to do this stuff. Well, don't you worry, because there's an undo button that'll take us right back to the start of our turn so we can choose our move more efficiently. So now I have moved the game on a little bit to show you the other action you can do. We've gone over gathering at these different locations, but you can also choose to enchant. On the bottom left-hand side of the screen, you can see there's a market of possible enchantments that you can cast, but they can only be cast on a shop of the same kind. So if we wanted to use this Ring of Destiny enchantment, we need to be at a gem shop, and luckily that's where we are. We're at the Fragile Reptile, which has got a little gem in the top corner. And in order to cast it, all we need are the resources shown on the enchantment. So we need a bread, 2 meat, and 3 potions. So let's go ahead and cast it. We click enchant, and then we choose our enchantment, the Ring of Destiny, and we click confirm. We spend some of our resources like so and hit confirm again, and then we can see that we're getting a bunch of points. That was 6 points, I think, from that enchantment. And you can also see that that resource has been added to the shop. So now when you go to the Fragile Reptile, you'll get 2 gems at base rather than just 1. But as you can see by the helpful little diagram down here, after you've done an enchantment, you then get 3 fire-ups at that location. You can fire up all of the dragons that are there. So normally we'd only get 1, but because we enchanted it, we now get to do all of these. So we can gift a good to another player. Maybe we'll give someone a nice leaf again. We can gain 3 different kinds of goods. Let's get all of these, why not? And we can draw a dragon from the market. Let's take brisket, so we can use it to score umami later on. And so with that, you can see the flow of a game of Flamecraft. You visit these locations to gather resources and play out your dragons, and then you enchant those locations with the resources you gathered in order to activate all the dragons at once at that location and create big combo turns. All the while, you're trying to fulfill the criteria on these fancy dragons to score big points at the end of the game. And that is a basic overview of Flamecraft Digital. You can see it's super charming, very cozy, lovely art style they got going on here, and for a really nice, simple, straightforward game that you can play with basically anybody. And that is Flamecraft Digital.
Quagmire. I just wanted to say Frogmire because it made me...
It's fun to say frogs, isn't
frogs.
it? Quagmire.
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 A game of frogs.
On lily pads.
On lily pads.
Hopping around, scoring points.
Look at these lily pads floating around on this water of cardboard.
Yeah, it's nice. This could have been a board, but there's these little floaty little
It's very
pads on
pleasant, and you know, it does add like a kind of texture to it.
Yeah.
I'm allowing it.
And also on the other side, there are sometimes little red
Oh,
beetles.
well,
which
it's
are
not
useful
just
for
a board then,
the
is it?
two-player
Because
mode.
there's beetles.
Yeah. This is an abstract little puzzly game of placing frogs onto lily pads, hopping them around, trying to get yourself some points. There are 4 actions you can do in this game, and they are all very straightforward. Action number 1, place a frog.
I was hoping you'd just say action number 1, frog.
You take a frog from your hand and you put it on your shore, which is this space over here.
Okay.
The next action you can take is move a frog, either from your shore to its starting space, as shown on its little frog tile, or along its route. So for an action, I could place this frog here, and then on a later turn, I could hop it to this one, and then again to this one, and then again over to this one.
Got it.
And once it's on its last space, you can take the third action, which is score a frog.
Just score a frog.
Just score a frog. You'll take it off the board, and you'll see there's this shows that it's on its destination space, and you score it equals the number of players. So if you're playing a 4-player game, it goes in the little 4-player slot here to show I scored 4
So there's a
points
couple of
for it.
things that happen there on that frog's journey that I just want to highlight, okay? First of all, you told me earlier, and I like the fact that you can remind yourself of whose frogs are whose frogs because of the orientation of the frog.
Yeah.
Curve to the top, that's the way the frog is pointing, is the way that the frog is owned.
They face their own true north.
Every frog has its north. The second thing I want to point out is I noticed, eagle-eyed Lees as I am, that this frog jumped onto a fly.
Yes.
Surely that's a good thing for a frog.
When you jump onto a fly, you get it. and then you move the fly to another lily pad for someone else to, and you draw a frog whenever you step on a fly.
That's quite a Yoshi-adjacent noise you made there. I enjoyed it.
You also have access to the final action in the game, which is if you do not want to place one of these frogs onto the board, you can score it using these little yellow spaces here. If there are frogs in any of these lily pads, you will score points by discarding it from your hand. So I could discard this one right now to score 1, 2 points, because there's 2 frogs, don't have to be your own, on those lily pads, and I would put it in the little 2 points.
So it basically means if you've got a hand of effectively frog cards and you've got one you think that's not useful to me, but there's a bunch of frogs in those spaces currently, then you can just bin it off and get some immediate points.
You can, indeed. And especially, like, you can, that's a way of not putting your frogs out onto the table and risking them. Because yes, Matt, there's frog risk. This is the final rule.
The frog's dilemma?
The frog's dilemma is that if your frog hops onto someone else's frog, that frog gets squashed. And you immediately get to score it as a point.
What?
You just take it off the board and score it as a little frog point over here. It's brutal out there.
That's just...
And you know what's even worse?
Frogs can be a cruel mistress.
What's even worse is that you might be in a position where the only move you can take makes your frog squash one of your own frogs.
So you've basically got to pre-plan your frog moves, thinking, okay, well, this one is going to go over here.
Yeah. So I've got to make sure that my frog isn't on that spot where this frog's going to move.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. It's a real puzzle.
There's a lot more crunch in these frogs than I was expecting.
Considering they have no bones.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Frogs have got loads of bones. Good job, frogs.
Good job, frogs. That is Quagmire, a game of moving frogs around, getting all puzzly, maybe munching some flies, maybe squashing some frogs.
Maybe frogs would love some fries.
I think you should be able to give a frog 1 chip.
Thank you. Next game. Salami, sir? How dare you make such an accusation? It was salami you. This is salami.
A game of stealing a big sausage, piece by piece, with a tiny little knife.
Yeah, the way you traditionally steal sausages.
This is a little party game for up to 6 players where you're pilfering salami from a big stack with this little knife, and it is an app-assisted game. We have our little app over here, paused to retain suspense. I'm going to explain how the game works, and then I'm going to press play, just so you can see the spinning knife animation.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
Yeah.
The app will tell you which player's turn it is at any given time. Right now it's me, and the player whose turn it is going to steal salami from the salami stack.
Yeah.
They're going to do things in this order. They're going to lift the lid, they're going to take a slice, they're going to put the slice in their bag, and then they shall replace the lid back onto the salami.
Yeah.
I saw you chuckle there because the concept of a salami having a lid was amusing to you. But it's not funny, it's a serious game.
I mean, I guess in the context of it, they could have like very carefully cut it open with the idea of we can just cut a bit out and then put the thing back on top and they probably won't notice.
Exactly.
But I'm not sure that's how sausages really work.
Exactly.
Also, I just like the idea of stealing a salami very, very slowly. It's like it's like tax fraud, really. I just feel like we're just a tiny
take a millimetre off the salami.
But we can also all relate to that thing of like, I'll just take a tiny bit, I'll just take a tiny bit, and then you go, they're definitely going to notice we've eaten 80% of it.
Absolutely, that is what the game sort of is. It's a push your luck game. You keep taking slices for as long as it is your turn, and at any point you can say, actually, I'm done with it being my turn, and you hit this little knife, and it goes, woohoo!
Who's goes it now? It's me. Okay, right, so I'm in. So I'm gonna do this. I take the top off. I'm going to take this bit of salami. I think that's just traditional salami.
Just traditional salami worth 1 point at the end of the game.
And then I have to put it back on again?
Yeah. Do you want another?
I do want another slice, so I'm just going to put it on, take it off again. I want another one.
You're just going to keep going.
I want another one, because there's a reason I shouldn't just keep going though, isn't there, Tom?
Yeah, but you're being really lucky right now, because the reason isn't happening.
Ah, yes, I'm stopping. I've pushed my luck enough, and now it's your go again, or my go again.
Yeah, you got the player colours wrong, but that's
Oh, hey! That's when the landlord gets mad with you and says, hey, you've been stealing my salami.
At which point you take one of these glance tokens and you put it in your player area, and if you get 2 of them, you're out the game.
So you got like wrecked there because you hadn't even had a chance to do anything.
Yeah.
And immediately the landlord looks at you.
I'd already been glanced
and I'd been stealing all of the sausages.
Right, and you might want to push your luck because there's also little mushroom tokens that are worth extra points. You also have some cheesy ones, which are turbo points over here, and you also have a cursed pepper, which whenever you take that, you give it to another player, it's worth negative points, but you give them the knife as well. So it's a real double whammy.
And I mean, I saw it, you told me about the bonuses, and I mean, I was gonna stop playing, and then I saw the mushroom was the next one, and I thought, I gotta get the mushroom, so I kept in a little bit longer.
Absolutely. And at that point, I could have also used one of my little special ability tokens. Every player has 2 noise tokens and 1 punch token. The noise tokens, when you play them, every player counts down 3, 2, 1, and the other player who is currently doing the salami business has to
stop.
freeze.
Oh.
They can't do anything.
Oh.
They're stuck in time.
It's salami time.
It's salami time.
Hope I'm frozen in spiced meats.
Which you might do multiple times in a row to make sure that a player gets caught by the barkeeper
Yep.
and then is out. And then punch is actually, I want that token and it's my go now.
Oh, okay.
Then bad hubris can happen where immediately you
Well,
get
I'm
caught
glad
by the
because that sends a good message. I was worried it was going to be like the landlord says, "Hey, you're stealing," and you just punch them.
Yeah, which would
is
also be
like
kind of beautiful.
it's a bit like my childhood in the north of England.
You should always punch landlords. Also, there's a variant to this game where you can play with special abilities based on what character you chose, which is kind of exciting.
Okay, yeah.
That is Salami, a real-time game of sausage theft.
Yeah, it's sort of like musical chairs, but with the opposite and with a sausage.
It's musical cured meat.
Musical reverse sausage chairs meat.
Restart. You push higher or restart. That's the game's little slogan. It says so on the box.
Yeah, that's a hell of a tagline.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my new catchphrase. Who knows?
Just in life.
Yeah, right?
Push higher
Or
restart.
you restart. That's what I'm going to start saying to strangers in supermarkets out of nowhere.
Just to concern them a bit.
Yep.
This is Restart. It's a game in which you're going to place out tiles into the middle of the table, trying to get rid of as many as possible from behind your screen. Here's a little look at what I got behind mine.
There's a little look behind my screen. In this corner, in the blue corner, and then over here, we've got some little examples of what it might be like if you were playing
Restart.
But you haven't got a screen. Because you don't have the ability to lift up a screen, because you don't currently have digital hands.
We can see everything. The aim of the game is to get rid of all of your tiles, ideally, or just as many of them as possible, because at the end of the round, when everyone chooses to pass, because they can't play any more tiles, you're going to score positive points for every single thing that is still behind your screen, just their face value in points. And that's bad. Points are bad. Points are not good.
No, I don't want that.
You don't want that. So how are you going to get rid of them? Well, you're going to play tiles into the middle. That's all you do on your turn is play some tiles. And you can play a single tile as long as it is of the same color as the row you're playing it into and is a higher number than the last one in that row. So I could jump straight from 4 to 8 as long as I'm playing higher than what was previously
There's no
there.
crime in it, although it might be annoying to other people.
It might be. You can also play multiples in like a little run as long as they are connected. So I could play 8, 9, and 10 all at once and clip them onto the end of the row
Just
like
as one
this.
little action.
Yeah,
You've got rid of the whole
just
number of numbers. That's
action.
really annoying for me because I currently have my behind screen have a 3 and a 7. So I'm a little bit shafted there. That's 10 points for me at the end.
That's nasty. How might you solve this situation?
Please tell me, please.
Well,
Doctor, help.
so the rows go up to 16, the numbers go up to 16, and the sum of the 16s have these little swirly on them, which means if you put it here, if you play a swirly 16, you can then restart the row as if you're going from 0.
Okay, great.
So I could then play this 12.
What have you done? Why have you done this? I still can't play my 3 and my 7. Is there another 16 restarty swirly?
There is another 16. But this one's got a square on it, Matt.
What does that mean?
It means that the row is done for good.
I'm done for good now.
No one can play anything else on a row with a big square 16 unless you use one of these special tiles. You've got little scissors that you can play, which let you snip off the last tile, so you could snip that 16 and then you could play on the 12.
Still a problem for me, but that's fine.
Or you could play a bin tile, which trashes the entire row, except for the one. The one can stay.
One always stays.
But everything else just goes in the bin. So
That's beautiful. That's exactly what I wanted.
The end game ultimate of please, I really need to play this number.
It's like they always say, I was pining for scissors, but what I really needed
was a
bin.
That's essentially the entire game. You're trying to play out these tiles from behind your screen, trying to work out what other people have got behind theirs and blocking them from doing so, knowing when to cap off a row. Even if you might still have tiles of that color, you might choose to cap off a row just because you think other people have more of that.
I've managed to go.
You had that organically?
2, 3, 4, 5. Organic 2, 3, 4, 5. Who knew?
I could play a 6.
That's pretty cool.
But now we're just playing Restart.
Now we're just playing Restart.
You could play Restart too.
I'm going to put down a 7.
If you owned a copy of Restart, Push Higher, or restart.
Or go home.
Oh, I forgot a little rule.
Okay, go
a
on
little
then.
surprise rule right at the end. When someone gets 100 points over the course of multiple rounds, again, points bad, the game ends and whoever has the fewest points wins. But if you can clear all of your tiles on any given round, which is really hard to do,
Yes.
then you just win the game regardless of points.
Huh.
So it has a nice, you're still in it right until the end because you could be like, there you go, I've played all my tiles.
So you could be losing tremendously badly,
But if you play that last round like a savvy little guy, especially if someone else is trying to be a greedy boy, you could be the winner.
the big winner.
Okay, that's actually
That's
restart.
actually
all
restart.
the rules.
How many times must I say this, Thomas? Eat your veggies.
Okay.
Well, that was easy.
That was very easy. I like eating vegetables.
I actually do as well, but as a child, not so much. Mushrooms, I thought they were pretty weird. And you know what? I was wrong and right.
This is Eat Your Veggies. It's a game about trying to avoid eating too many vegetables so you can save room for dessert.
I mean, that's something we can all relate to.
It really is. The way this game works, super duper simple. You're gonna spin this spinner. It's your turn.
It's me.
You gotta eat your veggies.
Oh.
But what if you don't wanna eat your veggies? You can either take them and eat them, or you can say no and play one of the no cards
Play one of my no
from
cards.
your hand.
You know what? I'm going to play a no card. And I'm going to say no. Just
No.
a straight up exclamation mark no.
Standard exclamation mark no. This means that the next player's turn is rolling around and they can either choose to eat their veggies or also say no. And I'm gonna say no and skip a turn. So now it's not a no for you, it's a no for you. You must decide if you want to eat your veggies.
I'm
and you
guessing
say yes.
They say yes.
They
They'd
say
love to
yes.
them. Which means they take their veggies.
They take their veggies.
And let's just pretend that they are me. So I'm going to take these veggies.
You take both the veggies and you would put them in their vegetable slots around your. It's amazing how much you're struggling with this.
Everybody knows who's ever had a meal. Tomatoes go on the left.
Yeah.
Stinky radish go on right.
Correct.
That's just how meal works.
That's just how meal works. So you've eaten your veggies, and that is kind of bad. We'll get back to why later. But you get to take everybody's no cards that were played and add them into your hand, which is kind of good. And we keep doing this. We flip the next set of veggies, and we keep doing it until all the veggies are gone. At which point, it's time to choose some desserts. We will draw a number equal to the number of players in the game. So in this case, 3. And then the player who has the most hearts in their hand, which are on the other side of these no cards, gets first dibs on what desserts they would like. So you might take this cookie, and you would put it over to one side.
The cookie champion is pretty solid.
It's really powerful. I'm going to take this sort of double fudge brownie situation, and you're going to get an ice cream, which is only worth 5 points compared to 7.
But hey, you don't have much player agency in this game, so
Yeah,
really, you've only got yourself to blame.
It's reasonable that you're going to make a few mistakes on this one.
But Tom, where do I put my desserts at the end of the game?
Well, you're going to have to make room for them by not having eaten veggies in that socket. So you get to put one on your sort of central plate, which is sort of a free spot, and then you can put additional desserts around your plate if you haven't got vegetables in that slot.
All right.
You can also stack the same kinds. If you were sort of set collecting a bunch of cookies, you could just have a giant pile in the middle.
So I can have a big pile of cookies as if they're pancakes, and then I could have some ice cream and maybe another kind of dessert down here.
Unless someone forces you to take one of those kinds of vegetables, and then that socket is busted. There's also an additional rule, which is you can stack 2 of the same kind of vegetable in a slot, but if you were to ever take a third...
So if I had to take both of these tomatoes, for example... That's too many tomatoes.
That's too many tomatoes, that's altogether too many.
How do I get rid of vegetables I don't want?
Slip them under the table.
You put them underneath the table and you feed them to the dog.
The dog who
A delightful
lives down
thing
there.
here. The box itself is a little table with a gingham thing.
Yeah.
There's a little dog under the table.
There's a little dog, and you can seal him away with this bit of cardboard.
Seal the dog away until you need to feed him vegetables you don't want. But then at the end of the game, you'll put all the different vegetable cards around it in a circle.
Yeah, every vegetable that ended up under there goes round the table like this.
We spin that round,
spin,
and then it's like, oh, tomatoes. So basically any player who had tomatoes...
who has 2 tomatoes.
gets in trouble because they said they were eating vegetables when actually they were feeding the vegetables to the dog.
And then
which I think is a lovely bit
beautiful.
bit of storytelling theming.
They then have to give up one of their desserts, and they would probably be quite sad.
Yes.
That is Eat Your Veggies, a very simple little game of trying to avoid having too many tomatoes and feeding an onion to a dog. Don't do that.
Don't feed onions.
Don't feed onions to dogs. This is FluentSea. It's a game about words underwater. Hence the title.
It's a pun.
It's a pun.
Before we get into this, I think the art style for this game is very cute. You can see on the cover, it's got some nice clay going on.
Yeah.
Like real clay that they then took pictures of to make into the box. And these tiles, look at this nice little clay dolphin that I have to place. But that clay dolphin is secretly an N.
Oh, I've been tricked before.
They're both aminals and coral and also letters.
They told me they were a pack of clownfish, but actually they were
an eye. So the way this game works is very straightforward. You're going to do 3 things each round. And the first thing you're going to do is spell. You're going to take 7 tiles from your little personal bag of tiles, and keeping them on their letter side, you're going to spell a word.
Okay.
Please hold for me and Matt, because we're going to spell a word.
So I've written the word peck, which is not the best word in the world, but
it's a word.
It is a word.
You've also put it in upside. You've put it
yeah.
What have you done?
I've accidentally got my board the wrong. You put it.
The right way up. For
you put it human way so that people at home can see it, but I was doing it me way.
So you've given yourself a nice little 4-letter word.
Yeah.
But Matt, I've spelt a 6-letter word. I've gone for crusty.
Nice. You've used some sand dollars there, I believe.
Yes, I have. At the start of each round, you're going to get a little income of these, and you can get them in other ways, but these sand dollars, you spend 2 of them to turn a letter into whatever you want. You still need a tile, but you can turn it into whatever letter you fancy. So I've managed to do that, and also you can see as you get higher up on the letters, you get more sand dollars of income, so that's a bit of cash back for spelling the crusty.
Crusty cash back from Tom. We all heard it. But Thomas, I've been quite clever here because you explained to me some of the rules of the game, and each of these different letters, I can see in the corner what type of sea aminal they're going to be when they go on the board. And so actually what I've done is I've got 2 sharks here in the same word, peck, but also at the bottom here you'll see they're all corals, which means my reserve is wham full of corals. So I'm hoping that in a future word I'm going to be able to go absolutely
coral mad
for corals and score some big points.
Yes, absolutely. So the way that this works is that any letters that you don't use, you keep in your reserve for next time, and then you flip over these ones, bum, 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 and you're gonna get to place them 2 at a time into the coral reef in front of us. And each of these different creatures or corals scores in different ways. So coral is nice and straightforward. Coral that is just surrounded by other stuff is just worth points. And this is all explained over here. So that's nice and simple. The fish will score in a school of fish. If you make a nice big school of fish like so, the player who has the most fish within it is going to score 5 points, the second most is going to get 2 points, which is interesting because you can have 2 little rival schools competing and you can clump them together and steal all of their hard-earned points.
Now we're schooling. Thomas, tell me about turtles. Turtles, Thomas, tell me about turtles. Please, I'm begging you.
Those are your kind of giant creature, and they want to be next to the biggest school of fish that is possible.
All right, well, I'm going to put mine there then.
There you go, look at that, lovely stuff. And then finally, you have crawlers, which just like to be around fish and coral at the same time, just hanging out.
Relatable.
Each round is also going to have its own challenge card that will give you extra sand dollars if you score in a certain way, and there's sand dollars on the board that you can pick up if you place in certain spaces. And finally, if this is all just too simple for you, you can play an advanced mode where you have different scoring criteria for the different creatures.
Yeah, I thought this just meant sharks, but actually it just means like bigger ones.
Bigger ones, which might be sharks or octopus.
Yeah, you never know what big ones are in the sea, and that's why you have to be careful sometime.
That's why you gotta be careful. That's FluentSea, a word game under the sea, where you're trying to get points by spelling crusty.
Turning crusty into crustaceans, potentially.
Oh, yeah, that kind of works enough.
That's not bad.
It works enough. Go, go, go kart!
I was going to go kart.
Kart.
This is a game of go-karts.
A family game.
A family game, absolutely, because it's got cars in it and everyone loves a family car. Now in this game we have cars being driven illegally by things that are in the United Kingdom of Britain not allowed to drive cars.
No, this pizza's driving a car, and on the back it has a box of pizza.
Oh my.
That's very distressing.
That's basically the equivalent of like a murderer having a body in the boot.
It's haunting implications in Go 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 Kart.
It's the most terrifying implication since the video game Mario Odyssey. What is consciousness? What is anything? I don't know, I'm scared. Now in this game, basically, you're not going to be playing as these karts, you're going to be cheering them on.
I'm supporting Mr. Pizza.
Yes.
But he's
so
right in the back.
We each start with a cheer token.
Very disappointing.
Right at the back. Well, yeah, but you set up this completely fictional game state, Tom. So
I did.
You just wanted the attention.
No one to blame but myself.
I'm losing, look at me. We all are cheering on a character. I'm cheering on the cat in the little black cart, which is great because I'm currently winning the race.
Underdog guy.
So The way it works is on your turn, you draw a card.
Bam!
And then immediately you take the action on that card.
Cheese moves 2.
Cheese moves 2. Now, obviously,
it's a pile up.
So we got a real situation over here with all of these cards in the back, but it might be fine. So basically, on your turn, you flip a card and you activate the card. Now, there are a few different things that can happen. You've got here, go to the next star. Around this course, you've got a bunch of different stars, and that's very simple. So if we had example pizza, let's pretend.
Let's pretend this is a pizza.
Then, wham, they can catch up.
Nice.
And if they're already on the start, they would go to the next star.
Oh my goodness, my little pizza boys in the league.
Off into the great leagues, the big leagues, as they say. Now, there's a bunch of different things these cards can do. Often they'll be like, just move this character forward this spaces. Some of them will say, hey, move and roll the dice. So you roll the dice, and that character would get to go the next star.
Wow!
However, you'll notice that some of these cards have the word swap in the corner of them.
Dun, 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 dun. What does that let you do, man?
That means that you get to choose to swap your cheer token with another one that is currently available in the middle section here.
So I think Mr. Pizza's days are over. I can have Dr. Taco's little card.
Yeah.
Little.
So you can swap out your support and decide that you're going to cheer for the taco.
Great.
And then we keep going. And eventually, somebody's going to win the race. At which point, you're going to get points depending on whether or not you were cheering for the right card.
And you're going to fill out some points on this little score pad with the pink pencil.
The pink pencil.
I like that the rulebook specifically
The rulebook
says
does specifically say
one pink pencil.
One pink pencil. You've also got some wild cards that let you choose which card gets moved, the amount it is, whether it's forward or backwards. And my favourite is the hot dog stand.
You just got to go to the hot dog stand.
You have to go to the hot dog stand, and that's not go to the next hot dog stand. That's go to the hot dog stand.
The one
hot dog stand on the map,
here.
which basically means that you might be about to win the race, and then you're going to get slurped all the way back to the hot dog stand. I really
have
like
a real craving for dogs.
Yeah, I like this. I like the idea that it's kind of a reverse magic reality Mario Kart where they just love glizzies, and it's like, yes, Donkey Kong is about to win the race, but stop. I just remembered the existence of hot dogs, so I'm going to drive all the way back to the hot dog stand.
We need some Bratton buns.
So yeah, that is Go Kart. A game of cheering on fictional characters in cars and hoping that your fictional character in car that you're currently supporting, because you can change your mind,
doesn't go to the hot dog stand.
Doesn't go to the hot dog stand and instead wins the race. A little shout out actually to Small Cheese and Car. Small Cheese and Car is honestly probably one of my favourite components.
Component of the year.
I've seen in a while.
Component of the year.
There's a good chance he doesn't go back into the box and just ends up living on my shelf. I am terribly sorry to everyone involved. And that is Go Kart.